All right, YouTube, we are live and we are streaming on a Sunday night. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, so today is Memorial Day Eve. Didn't stream last night because I had another stream planned. I've got my guy Josh Roller. He owns BassBoatForSale.com. So special guest and a special topic tonight, which is bass boats. And I figured I know a lot about baits, I know a little bit about fishing, but this guy is a master of sales. So Josh will give you a little bit of his history, and we'll talk about bass boats and answer any questions. So Josh, while we wait for some viewers to get in here, I'm gonna go ahead and share this out to my new bass boat group. I just changed the name today. So guys, if you have Facebook, look up Bass Boat Universe.
Yep.
And
Thank you, Baitman, for having me and Bass Boat for Sale on the show, on the live stream tonight. Very special show, Memorial Day weekend show. Before we even get into it, just want to say thank you to all the first responders, military, everybody out there, no matter what branch. Our colors are red, white, and blue for a reason.
that's right. You know, I love those.
So,
I love the 6 Cents hats with the red, white, and blue in it. I love the old school shirts with the red, white, and blue patriotic logo. You know, my wife's family, my dad. My dad served in Vietnam. He was in the Navy. He never put a foot on ground. But those guys are important too. And you know, it's not Veterans Day; it's Memorial Day. So we gotta say special thanks to all the people that risked their lives, paid the ultimate price. So I can get on YouTube and talk fishing and baits and bass boats and whatever. So, you know, my wife's family is huge military people, and I appreciate it all. So
yep.
I'll get this.
My father's a Navy veteran and served on the Intrepid and on the USS Enterprise. Can't speak to what he did; it's classified.
Was he a UFO
Yeah.
investigator?
No, he wasn't a UFO investigator, but he was in some high clearance and high security stuff, classified. So, but yeah, a lot of people may have the misconception before we jump into the fun stuff here. It's just good to talk about the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Obviously, Memorial Day is honoring those who served and gave their life, and Veterans Day is honoring those who served and are still with us. I mean, if I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong, but that's how I understand it.
Says Josh has echo. Hold on. I think I can fix that. All right. I think I fixed it. So let me know if Josh still has an echo. I know what I need to do. I gotta plug my headset in because your audio is bouncing through my laptop. I'll fix that right now.
Well, I'm glad you're the guru when it comes to these technical.
I'm not so
YouTube
sure I'm a
lives.
guru, Josh. I've just messed up a lot, and I've kind of learned from my mistakes. But
I like it.
all right, someone needs to
All
turn
right.
your sound down, echo go away. Let's see if that's better. We got some people in here. I just shared it on the new Bass Boat Universe. Going to get a nice little logo with that and whatnot. So anyway, let you guys know there will be a website coming pretty soon for that, and what we're going to do on the Bass Boat Universe. It's going to be close to Bass Boat Central, a little updated forum and stuff like that. But if you want to purchase a boat, instead of me doing all the work and I don't have the time, if you go to Boats for Sale, it's going to link to Josh's site, which is Bass Boat for Sale. And title of the video says Live with Panger, though. Okay. Well, I can fix that somehow.
This is the true test, the adversity.
That's right. I can fix that. I could swore I changed the title. That's alright. We might get some Matt Pengrek fans in here. I changed it one time. So, let me see if I can fix this.
No problem.
there's nothing that ever happens correctly on the Baitman show. Just FYI.
Well, that's what makes it live.
Yeah. Let's see. Open advanced audio settings. I don't want to do that. Do that. Alright. Yeah, it's just 20 feet deep with Matt Pangrek. Alright, hold on. Let's see here. What in the world? This is what I get for doing yard work for like 10 hours today. I never want to see a shrub the rest of my life. So, all right, here we go. I had to pull it up in the YouTube.
I must send some of my people over to take care of those shrubs for you.
Oh man, Baitman live. Let's. All right. About I got this fixed. Whoa, got a new subscriber here.
Enhance. A little Super Troopers reference, a little Sunday night humor.
Oh yeah, great. All right, here we go.
We good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go. Edit. Yeah, I forgot to end on Baitman. We'll get this fixed in a second. But Bait Ma live. Ma, get the meatloaf. All right. Talking Bass Boats with Josh Roller. That's the title now. We got a $5 donation to start it out from my buddy Will Perryman. Will, thank you so much for the donation, as always. Very appreciative, and I will get Baitman Jr. some ice cream with that. So, Max Price says I fixed it. So, let's get to rolling. Josh, tell me about BassBoatForSale.com. I met you at the Bassmaster Classic last year. I was with Mr. Menendez, of course. And I've been following you. We'd follow each other on Instagram, and you're a hustler, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Much respect to you as well. Yeah, we've been talking for a long time, and we had the opportunity to face-to-face last year at the Bassmaster Classic, spend a little bit of time, and looking forward to that FaceTime or in-person time as well at the Bassmaster Classic coming up in ICAST with yourself and many other individuals, getting back to the way things need to be. And Bass Boat for Sale started in early 2016, and the website itself launched February 1st, 2017. So we're coming on around 4.5 to 5 years, and how it started was I was looking for a boat, and I really couldn't find what I was looking for. And there was a couple, maybe websites, Craigslist existed, and a few other things. And I was like, man, I just can't find what I'm looking for. This boat's already sold. This boat's photos are wrong. I can't contact this owner. This boat's unavailable. The whole process of finding what you were looking for was just unorganized and unprofessional. And I had some good fortune with my former life and being in systems engineer in IT and systems administrator, and always working in marketing and advertising, promotions. Worked for Lexus, worked for Toyota Direct for many years. And, after a while, I just made the jump to doing this full-time as the full-time career. And that took a lot of hard work and sacrifice. So that's how it started, and that's where we're at now. But essentially what we do, if you're looking to buy or sell a bass boat, you're going to find it on BassBoatForSale.com. So who are we and what the hell do we do? So our main website, Bass Boat for Sale, is a custom-built platform. It's not a template from somebody else. This thing was custom built for close to 2 years before we released it. And all the technology, the dev guys, my CTO, my IT manager, all the guys behind the scenes that we're not talking face to face, there's a full team. And it's a full-fledged business. So there's multiple people, including legal, marketing, all these guys, but they don't talk bass fishing and bass boats. They like yoga. They're experts in their field.
Right.
So it's not just a clubhouse. This is a full-fledged business in what we do 24/7, 365. So we run on 4 business platforms. We have our main website, business Facebook, business Instagram, and business YouTube. So all the boats live on bassboatforsale.com. That's where they all live. They all have their own URL. They all have their own page. You can get to any boat, search, filters, everything. The socials are excellent platforms. What they actually do and how they operate is redirects back to where the boat lives on the main website. So sometimes there's this misconception out there, and I do want to clear this up, that you're just a Facebook page or you're an Instagram or you have a YouTube channel. That's completely false.
Right.
Our main website is our product, and we have 4 business platforms. So that's who we are, and that's what we do. And because of the high quality customer service, the personal approach, and how we handle business, coming from years of experience of what not to do and treat people the way you want to be treated, being a subject matter expert as much as possible on these boats, researching the new models that come out, the new motors, new electronics. I mean, if I turn the camera, I got bookshelves high on almost every single model that I've been collecting since I was a kid. I was already doing it. So, that gives a little bit of backstory, but again, I don't want to hot mic the conversation. So yeah, there's important things to touch on. Who the hell do you advertise these bass boats for? Are you a broker? Are you a marine dealer? We're not a boat broker and we're not a marine dealer. We're the premier bass boat listing website and business. That's who we are and what we do 24/7. So we advertise these boats for multiple categories of owners. You have your private owners, which is a John Smith down the street from you, a regular guy. Then you have your pro anglers, your Wes Logans, your Brandon Poliniks, your Joe Lees, your G-Mans, your top guys on Major League Fishing, Bassmaster Elite Series, the new NPFL. They have to be a pro angler at the highest level. And we have our marine dealers. And those are the majority of it. And then you have your QV personalities like a Bill Dance or somebody else, but they're going to fall into our private owner category. So each of those levels on how to list your boat, well, probably maybe you're getting some questions on, well, how do I get my boat on there? It's that simple. You go to bassboatforsale.com, you click sell, and you enter your information, drop downs, and you click submit. The team reviews it, we publish it. It's the same thing as an Amazon or a Tackle Warehouse order. You click what you want, add it to the cart, send it. That's it. So that's giving you like the 50,000 view elevator pitch down, and then we'll get into the more dialogue here. I don't want to just hot mic it straight out.
I've always seen.
I did hear someone said they were going to give you a donation. Well, I'll match that donation with 15 for you for whatever it is.
Well, I appreciate that. I just enjoy talking. I actually really enjoy the bass boat discussion. I'll be honest. I've owned a Nitro, and it was okay. It was my first boat. I caught a lot of fish out of it. And then I had a Skeeter Zix 225, and I'm pretty partial to the Skeeters. But had a good comment in here. And this is something we kind of actually talked about before the stream. Bayou Burner, great subscriber, always in here. So speaking of bass boats, I'm infatuated with finding out what boat Brett Cannon has. Like a bass inshore skiff hybrid. Now, you know a little bit about that boat, and so do I.
Yeah, so I was actually not surprised because we published that boat probably 30 minutes before the live stream. So this specific boat is a custom-built Big O. Big O boats are well known in Florida and around the country. They're custom-built one by one. They're on the west side of Florida, and that boat is a 20-foot 10. It's a 2018 with a 2020 Mercury 250 Pro XS 4-stroke. So on Bass Boat for Sale right now, that's the first boat you can see on the top page. So everything about that boat, how to contact him, the video, the photos, everything is there. That's a custom boat. So Big O Okeechobee. So they're made for big water. And if the people know on the socials, I like to say the socials, but
Yeah.
That boat's got a lot of big bass juju in it.
Yes, it
And
does.
before the stream, why don't you tell everybody what was caught out of that boat, Baitman?
Well, what's kind of crazy is the first time I was ever in a big old boat, and I've known quite a bit about them. I had a buddy who used to have one as well. And number one, they're fully kind of a custom deal. They don't make a ton of them every year.
Nope, they don't.
But man, when I jumped in,
there's not 500 of them. I promise you.
When I jumped in it, number one, Brett does a lot of filming, so he's a videographer, does all the stuff for 6 Cents, marketing guy. Number one, you can run all around this boat. So if you're filming, it's great. And so I filmed with Brett, and then went fishing with him, and I netted a 14.40 pound bass. I gotta get that footage up, but if you've watched any of the 6 Cent stuff in the last couple months, you've probably seen it and me going crazy. But yeah, it's been broke in, as they say. It's been net manned for sure.
Well, I do know a little bit on that. That was, that good fortune when Brett transitioned from Florida to Texas, and I know he does travel a lot. But I had the pleasure of knowing that boat process from, and I don't want to say too much, but from when he ordered it and having it built, and that build time, and seeing the progression of that boat. But that's all I can say about it, because I don't want to speak any more specific. Let the listing do, and let the channels do what they're supposed to do. But that's a custom boat. There's other custom bass boats out there, such as Storm. Another, doesn't have to be built in Florida, but that's another custom boat that is, there's not so many of. So, you have your custom built boats, you have your production lines, and then you have your hand builts. So, but fishing and bass boats ain't going away anytime soon. There's 8 million licenses sold last year during the pandemic. I could be wrong. Don't hold it against me. I do try to be as accurate as possible, but from the information from the ASA and other organizations, 6 to 8 million fishing licenses were sold just last year.
Yeah, it's actually, I don't want to say hurt the industry, because it's obviously thriving, but as far as fishing wise, you look at Tackle Warehouse, and they're so many thousand orders behind. Well, a lot of the boat and motor manufacturers are behind too. Everybody's wanting boats right now, so you're getting a lot of traffic for guys. Used boats, or good used boats, are a commodity right now.
Yeah, so let's touch on that and stay on this lane, on this line, on this ledge for a moment.
You're really not letting me do my thing where I just go crazy everywhere, but that's okay. I need some
structure.
I need some structure every now and then.
Well, because I'll let you loose, and we'll do weapons free if you know the term.
Yeah, we're good, man.
No, but I want to make sure I answer the question of the topic. So, boats on Bass Boat for Sale, aside from any boats being pre-listed, it's going to say it. Those boats are available now, meaning you can get that boat tonight, tomorrow, and go fish. Turnkey, it's ready, it's available. It's not something that's on order. That's a huge, huge advantage. Now, there's many reasons people sell boats. We can dive into that later or through the stream. But yes, there are production line interruptions right now in almost every single industry. We can talk a lot about it, but it's not some rocket science. We will find out very soon, in the next 45 to 65 days, between the Bassmaster Classic and ICAST, and I'll have more information about where it really actually stands on what we're going to know, because the Bassmaster Classic, they release boats, they release new, and ICAST. ICAST is more product related to fishing tackle, not boats and motors, but people are going to be ordering for their 2022s. So, this topic, it's not going away, but it is temporary. It won't last forever, okay? It's not going to be, hopefully not, but yes, there is, including marine dealers and other people trying to source as much as they can and get their hands on it. But you have to bob and weave, and you have to make changes on the fly when you're in a tournament. You just can't throw the same bait all
That's
day.
right.
You have to be versatile. So I'll be honest and I'll be truthful. Yeah, we went through a lot of boats this year and last year. So right now, obviously, we're sourcing inventory for buyers because, so if we had 300 something boats on the site and we go through 120 of them, do the math there, we still got to get up to what our normal inventory numbers are normally to be able to serve the next customer in line, because we're working for the buyers and for the sellers. So it's a great question and an excellent topic. I want to make sure I answered it, but it does require a lot of in-depth. But I'm gonna let you go weapons free.
Yeah,
here.
man. I'm just gonna fire some questions out because, right now it seems you got a lot of guys. Aluminum boats are really a hot topic. Lots of guys. You got John Cox in aluminum boats. You got
O'Shea.
Yep. And then you Luke Duncan's running Express this year.
Yep.
What do you think has caused this kind of resurgence in the aluminum bass boat? And I don't just mean a bass tracker. I mean a real certified.
Okay. So
bass boat.
you're talking about the high end aluminums.
Yeah, like Crestliner. Obviously, you gotta say Vexus. They became a big player a couple years ago. I've been in one. I really like it.
Yeah, there's multiple brands. I could, make a goofball out of myself and say 10 of them and then skip one and say, oh, you forgot this one. So I don't want to do that. Right. But what I do want to do is talk about it. So this fiberglass versus aluminum debate, this has been going on for a long time.
Right. It has.
And guys like Ott Defoe, or the River Rat, when they're, running these tunnel holes and different things like that. So, the aluminums have an advantage to get skinnier. They, getting banged up more and a little bit rougher conditions than the fiberglass in certain situations for the type of water that they're fishing. Yes, tunnel holes have been, I don't want to get into that topic, but in tournaments they say, oh, you can't do that because it was a disadvantage against the fiberglass guy. But, when you there's nothing wrong with a bass tracker. I've fished out of many bass trackers, get back into skinnier stuff, 16-footer with a 50 on the back than I ever could with any other boat. But they're going to be able to fish different stuff. So that has evolved where they say, well, we want a higher end aluminum bass fishing boat. But you brought up Vexus. They're a hybrid between a fiberglass and an aluminum. So, that topic and the aluminums, it's been debated for a long time, but it's kind of like the flavor is ice cream. Everyone's going to have their different taste. Now, if you ask me personally, not from the business, I'm covering my logo for a second because I want to speak personally, I'd have two boats. I'd have my 20-foot fiberglass with a 250, and I'd have an 18-footer with a 150 aluminum. Why? Because I fish Florida and I fish the Everglades. I fish some really skinny stuff that I'm not going to put that 20-footer fiberglass with a 250 and I'm going to do the 18 with a 150. Well, Josh, why not just get a high-end aluminum with a 20-footer with a 250? Well, guess what? That weight and that motor, it might not be able to get back into some of this really shallow stuff that I like to fish and jump into those holes. So, and jumping over mud islands and some of the stuff that's off the grid to get to fish during a tournament down in the Everglades. And guys watching this from Florida, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't mean you couldn't do it in a 20-footer with a 250 on an aluminum, but they know exactly what I mean. When you got 4 batteries, you got everything in the motor sitting down, you got to have enough water to jump up on pad with a 4-blade prop to be able to do that in that back in the marsh. So, that's why sometimes you see duck hunters with a duck hunter boat on Okeechobee, because they're getting into areas or with an airboat. So it really depends on the environment. But, the standardization of the boats, it used to be you got a hull, a trailer, a trolling motor, and maybe one electronic in your motor. now boats are full featured. So, you know, the industry has totally changed over the last 15 years easily.
Yeah. Here's a great question. This is from Nate Swan. I think he covered it a little bit, but it says, Josh, when do you expect the market to get to a more normal level of pricing for the used market? And that's something I've noticed,
Okay.
man, the last 6 to 8 months. You know, I've got that moderator stick big time on the Bass Boat Universe is pricing. And I'm always like, it's America. You can price anything for what you want to. But right now, you know, a 19 to 21 foot glass boat, like an old good used Champion, are going for $35, almost $40,000, and people aren't having any trouble selling them. So, do you think we're going to eventually the bubble may burst on the used market?
It's a very, very
A lot of factors are going into that too.
catch-22 double-sided question. Okay, so when we talk about markets and normalization and this type of thing, everything goes up and down, whether it's wood, food, gasoline, water, every single thing. And it's related to housing market, stock market. Everything goes up and down based on supply and demand. So guys have probably held on to boats, and the pre-owned market has jumped up based on availabilities. So yeah, I don't want to say a specific number or percentage, but you're probably seeing boats that have jumped up, you know, between $5,000 and $7,000 of what they were a year and a half ago. As far as normalization, when it'll come back down, that's just with anything. So the more supply. So when you start to, now I got to preface this with some information that is important to digest. And I speak this way for a specific reason. There wasn't 10,000 or 20,000 bass boats that were totaled in accidents or no longer on the water. They're just not being seen visually with the optics. Okay. People held on to their boats. So, you know, that's just the same thing with, you know, kind of like the housing market a little bit.
Correct.
And what I mean by that is what will happen is you have more boats come available, more inventory, the prices will go back down. So when, you know, you don't have a lot of something, the price goes up. But, you know, that's really something interesting. A lot of time the value of, you know, your depreciation value, automotive vehicles have went up. Mm-hmm. Okay. So for example, a Toyota Tundra 2020. There's rumors out there of what you bought it for. They'll give you another 10 grand on top of it for market stabilization pricing. Like 2020 was like, you know, 59, 60 grand, totally decked out a TRD, and they're selling it for like 80 or 85. And you see that in the message boards on, you know, on the socials and Facebook groups. But to direct answer that question, I expect that you're going to have that come around probably in the next 8 to 16 months. It could be longer, it could be shorter. But again, as I was saying, that I'll have a little bit more finger on the pulse of that topic from the next couple events, because we'll be able to have a better feel for it when you're in person, talking to the gurus, talking to those mentors that we rely on, including myself. You know, I can make a prediction with a glass ball and say, oh, I think the prices are going to come down tomorrow, but I don't want to be part of my French. I want to be a jackass. And again, you know, we don't fire sell boats or want to devalue the market, but for the average guy, you know, prices have increased. So if they, you know, it's not uncommon. Prices have gone up, but you know, that's circular. So I hope they start to come down a little bit more on the pre-owned, but the market is hot and buyers are able to get a bit more for their boats. So I mean, it's good right now, and that's a positive. The value of your item increasing. There's always a positive versus decreasing. You don't want to see these boats that have such a depreciation value after a year of owning it. It's new, and you just took a $35,000 hit. That's not good for the bass boat market at all. So again, I don't want to state something that's not factual, but that's what I see coming up. I see a stabilization coming up. You and I talked a little bit about that off stream, but I sense that coming up, but you're, that has to, some indicators would be your financiers, your, and things that you'll probably share with your audience later down on the stream. But you get indicators from there on, the financials and the buyers and the buyer's behavior. And you put that all in the mix of how your decision process is, of how you, say something on a live stream like this, because you don't want to lead people the wrong way.
That's kind of
But
how I try when I'm talking about baits. I try to be pretty point blank, and I also, if I don't know anything, I just don't say it.
No, if I don't know something, I'm not going to state it.
Here's something I can kind of help answer. It says, I hear boat production is caught back up with some manufacturers, but they're having problems getting motors to mount them. So, that's been true. I know a couple manufacturers.
Can we repeat the question? I had a blip. I didn't hear the question.
Basically, the question was, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement, but I'll form it in I hear boat production is caught back up with some manufacturers, but they're having problems getting motors to mount on them. Is that true or not? I can say that is true. In my line of work,
it's factual.
In my line of work, we build windows and fiberglass windows. Well, if you know what fiberglass bass boats are made out of, it's you have to use a resin to make fiberglass, and we have had a huge resin shortage at my work because we produce our own fiberglass. Well, I know a couple boat manufacturers. They got to blow in the fiberglass or whatnot to make the holes and all that stuff. They've slowed the production down, not on purpose, but because they can't get resin. It's a true thing. You can Google up national resin shortage, and man, it's a day-to-day thing. Especially at my work, we may have enough resin to go 2 weeks. We may have enough resin to go 2 nights. Luckily, it depends on how you look at this. We've had plenty of resin, and I've been really, really busy the last 2 weeks. But, the next thing I hear before I leave for this break is, don't know when we'll get more in. Could work 30 hours next week, could work 50. So,
right. So that ties into what we talked about before on production, supply interruptions, and distribution feed interruptions. That materials, raw materials, resin, aluminum, plywood, nails, everything. So I've heard, the doc talk. I'm not going to speak officially for any motor manufacturer. It's not my place. But yeah, they're working as hard as they can to fill these orders and fill the need. And you have to be patient and understand the situation. It's unprecedented. It's not like they don't want to take care of customers or parts or whatever. They're doing the best job they can. And as I said before, I'll know in the next 60 to 80 days have a better pulse on it once I am on site with that. And a lot of people, will too. But yeah, they're catching up and they're taking orders and, taking deposits. But, some of those lead times, let's say, oh, your boat's out 6 weeks, but we're waiting on a motor. So it might take a little bit longer, but they're doing the best they can. And I can't speak officially whether A motor manufacturer or B motor manufacturer is having a shortage, because it's not my place to say. There's already enough about that going on the socials and the doc talk. But, boats are out there and motors are out there. It's not like they don't exist.
Right.
Okay. So, a shop down the street from me here in Florida, he might have 3 brand new Mercury motors, but he just doesn't advertise that great.
That's true.
Okay. So looking for something that's available and having something in front of you that's available, pop up in front of you is totally 2 different things. So, I'll give you a perfect example, some synergy here. Let's talk about bait for a second. A very common bait, jackhammer.
Ooh,
okay?
One of my favorites.
Exactly, it's one of my favorites too. Let's say that the jackhammer, I don't know, bluegill color. I'm just using this as an example. Let's just say that I can't get it from you. I can't get it from Tackle Warehouse, Amazon, or eBay. But I call up 10 different fishing marinas or bait shops, and one of the guys out in Idaho has 3 of them, and I really need it for a tournament. but he didn't have it on his website. But I called and looked for it. Okay, like I'm searching for something. He's like, yeah, I got 3 of them. I said, great, I'll buy them right now. I pay him over the phone, and I got it. So I found something that wasn't necessarily being put in front of me. I had to go hunt for it. Kind of like finding fish.
Right.
They weren't right in front of you. So it's not the best analogy, but it serves the purpose of the conversation.
And, of course, when all this is going on, the manufacturers are trying to keep up. Goes back to what we were saying. That's why your website's getting a lot of traffic. Guys are wanting now. They say, oh, man, I'm on Bass Boat for Sale. There's a brand new Phoenix, Triton, Skeeter, whatever. It's turnkey. It's ready. I do not have to wait on anybody. And that's where you get traffic. And the good thing is, we're partnered up here on the channel with Vantage Recreation Finance. There's a link here.
Yeah.
If you're interested in buying a boat and maybe it's a used boat and the guy says, I can't finance it, or maybe you want to give it a try, and that's fine. You can fill out the form on there, get pre-approved, and you can basically get on your site. You can use my link or whatever, and you get pre-approved for financing, and it's you don't have to worry about going to a certain bank or whatnot. And I don't know interest rate numbers. Of course, I can tell you that all depends on your credit score and all that stuff, but it's a smooth process if you want to buy a boat off your website.
Yeah, exactly. I'll speak to that. And we've welcomed you aboard with the Vantage and welcome you aboard. And Mike and Harborough and his team at Vantage do an excellent job to turn around recreational financing, not just on bass boats, but you can do saltwater, RVs, multiple other recreational vehicles. But we stick with the bass boats, and having you a part of that is excellent. So you can use Baitman's link direct on the videos on all his socials, and that's going to be able to get you right to the application page and apply. As soon as you apply, put in your information, Vantage Recreational Financing is going to handle it, and they're going to contact you. They're going to walk you through the process, basically handhold whatever you need, calls, emails, to get you what you're looking for. So being able to have that in-house, and also boat insurance through BIA, which is direct on our website as well. Also, Baitman has his insurance link as well. You're able to get a boat insurance quote. So these are 2 verticals that we do and offer as services. But, it's a lot different than a credit union or your local bank, or, financing it yourself and taking out a lump sum of money, is that they have multiple lenders. So, talking about credit scores and talking about interest rates and all of that fluctuates. And that would be inappropriate to speak about that right now, because tomorrow it can change. It's a very fluid situation with what's going on in the world right now, and it's changed and it's changed again. So you'll know if you're approved or if you're not approved. So that's they have multiple terms, multiple lenders. So you could do a short-term loan, you could do a long-term loan, but they've done a lot of boats with us over the last 4 years, and they've done a lot of boats with other people as well. We have a partnership with them, and we're pleased to be able to provide that service to buyers and sellers, and marine dealers as well. So that's something that we do as a service, and it's an important service, because the whole point is about getting on the water. But like we said in the moment before, hey, honestly, these boats ain't cheap.
No, and I'll be straight up with you. I just tried selling the truck on Facebook, and it was an absolute nightmare. I did get it sold, but let's keep it real here. I can't afford a boat, so I don't fill out credit apps or anything. And if you're on the fence and you can barely make your house payment, I'm just going to be honest with you. You probably don't need to try to get a boat financed. It's just not a good deal. But,
there's people make all kinds of sacrifices, and I can't tell people to do something or not do something, but common sense is common sense. So I'm going to agree with what you said. It doesn't make good sense to get yourself in a pickle or in a jam or something like that where you're in financial trouble. But very rarely is that the case when majority if people know that that's not something that they can be able to do, they're not going to apply. So like I said, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But that doesn't mean. But okay, so here's the other thing, and this is really important, and we're going to bounce back off of here. Let's talk about boats.
Sure.
Let's talk about bass boats for a second. Let's fucking talk about the boats. Excuse my
I'll let you slip this time. So, yeah. All right, here's the question. One thing I've really noticed this in the last maybe 2 years, the return of the fast boat. I've seen more people talking about bullets, Allisons, the new ballistic. The only ballistic dealer in the country just lives, an hour and a half from me, Brian Dodge, Duck River. Those boats are high demand right now. And I remember Kentucky, you'd see some bullets and some Allisons, but it was always, that's just a boat built for speed. I don't think they are anymore. Yeah. I think they're... No, so we classify them as go fast boats. That's what we call them. So, again, I'm not going to name every single one because I'm probably going to miss one, but your strokers, your Allisons, your bullets, your ballistics, I'm going to miss one and someone's going to call me out on it. But that's a go fast. That's a go fast boat, okay? And they're, a lot of times they had lighter trolling motors, the motor guides instead of the Minn Kotas, and they, testing and tuning with the props and getting the jack plates. And that boat is screaming. My old fishing partner, we fished out of his stroker, guy named Bill, and he would say, Josh, it don't matter what boat number we call, we're going to run him down anyways. And I never really believed him. That thing had a 250 Sport XS, and we could be the last boat in our fishing club. Number drawn, we still beat everybody to the hole. That was a 100-mile-an-hour boat. We didn't do 100 miles an hour, but easily you just, reeled people in. And, they've made them very more fishable than they are. But that's a lot of the advance in the technologies and the design. Mm-hmm. So, maybe the whole design is tweaked a little bit and it changes a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. But the advancements in the fishability does change. They realize that. So what I was saying before on different boats and talking about the financing a little bit and about the price of boats, let's just be real here for a second, okay? You don't need a brand new 2021 to go fishing. No. Dude, I'd take a kayak
I don't have a brand new 2021 sitting in the driveway, okay? I have my boat. It's paid for. What do you mean? You don't have the best? No, I'm a very simple kind of man. I'm very humble. I got a 2002 boat, paid for. It runs. I'm very happy with it. I'll get another boat as soon as I got some more garage space until, that's on me and that's the person. I'm not speaking from the business. But, you talked about a tracker. There's nothing wrong with getting into an entry-level tracker and just going fishing and starting out. So you got to have something that you work up to and go to. But we are on the Baitman channel. This is not an entry-level show. This is talking about, high-end bass fishing. So, yeah, does it mean you can't pick up a 2018 or 19 or a 15? The more model years you go back, it's an older boat. But to be honest, we have older boats that are clean and mint. We call them, they've been stuck in a time machine, a garage, or a warehouse somewhere, just like a car. And you could eat a steak dinner off of that boat, and they still hold their value.
That's what I was saying earlier, man. Those old champions, the 201s, 203s. And, man, I'm just going to be honest right here. I'm going to call them out. Dude, I think Tactical Bassin', they got such a huge, giant following. Well, you look at what Matt and Tim's running. They're running those big, older champions, and people see how they ride and how they fish. And all of a sudden, that market's kind of started. They don't make them anymore. So, the demand's there. They're great boats if you can find them. And then they had the Stratus Champion, if you remember that. Those are hard to find
Stratus. Too. Yeah, and that's a little bit about the bass boat history. There's brands that come and go, and their boats live forever. Meaning like the boats are still around. But yeah, it's not a secret. Legend Boats is not made anymore new. Stratus Boats is not made anymore new. There's probably a few others in there, but I'm not going to go over all of them. Like I said before, I'll get called out. But you can still find those boats. So speaking about specifically about Legend, there was a time where you were seeing a lot of Legends come on the market, and then all of a sudden you're not seeing as many. What happened? Those guys held on to them kind of like a cult following, and they just repowered them.
Right.
So, we were getting a ton of Legends, and now we're short on Legends, and we need more. So if a guy who's listening right now or watching, and he's like, yeah, I got a Legend V20 or, an Alpha, and, I want to sell that, hey, your boat's going to shine because we don't have as many on there right this second. So,
someone said Charger is the new champion. I know the hull's supposedly the same. I haven't ridden a new Charger, so I'll go back to you. I can't make a comment on that, whether they're really the same ride or anything.
I don't want to comment on that because it's going to put myself to be an expert on which boat manufacturer took over which hull and which hull designer with the business side. A lot. So let's talk about this, and let's talk about this instead. And I'm not skating over the question. It's just another time we can bring in another guest, and we can, who's a subject matter expert on that exact question. A lot of these guys, from my experience and knowledge and what I've been privy to, a lot of these guys work together here.
Right.
Okay. Back in the day. And they all worked together. And then as time, they split off and started to do their own
That's
thing.
That's basically how Vexus formed and how Phoenix formed. Yeah.
Okay. So they all worked together. A majority of them, I'm not going to say all of them, majority of them worked together, and then they went off and did their own thing. Okay. It's not uncommon in any business. And, so that's what happened. But, the Champion and the Stratus and, well, look at the new Camus boats. Is that a mix of this and this boat and that boat? And where the pontoons on the back look like this manufacturer, the nose in the front looks like this. Yeah, it's being talked about a lot, but I don't want to take valuable time and just going over all these things that are already answered.
Yeah. Shady Banks asked me. So this is my personal favorite boat I've ever been in. And because I won a lot of money on it, so that's a huge factor. Obviously my partner fished out of my boat with me too. We won some money, but man, we won a bunch of money out of it. TR21. It was the 21X Elite XS, I believe that was it. And dude,
yep.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I've rode a ton of boats, and just my personal opinion, that Triton took Kentucky Lake as good, if not better, than most new boats. And one thing I really liked, it fished great, and I netted a lot of fish out of that boat. And those old Tritons, man, there's something about them I really like. I like the seats, and to be honest, there's a lot of people looking for those too.
Yep. So if you're looking for those, we get new boats weekly. We do our damn best to always be getting new boats weekly, take care of the buyers and the sellers, but sometimes we're not going to have something for a little bit. That's just realistic, and we're trying our best to get it. I wish we had every single boat and every single model. That's the goal. That's the bigger picture, but that takes time just with anything. But to answer the question, my favorite boat, speaking personally, I'm really in love with the Skeeter FXR. It just fishes, it rides. It's an amazing boat. I really love the Skeeters. I've driven pretty much every single boat, fished out of every single boat. For me personally, just how it fishes, that's what I like. But it doesn't mean that we don't sell a ton of Nitros or a ton of Trackers or Phoenix. Bass Cat. Bass Cat makes
a good boat.
A hell of a boat, Bass Cat. Spent a lot of time with Rick and Dallas.
They're really good people too. I've got to meet
Rick.
Zach Burge introduced me to him, and it was like He even said, "Hey man, I've seen some of your stuff on YouTube." I'm like, "Really?" He said, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And he said, I just
Yeah.
because I build boats don't mean I don't fish." And so I thought
Yeah.
that was
A
pretty
lot of
cool.
these guys. Yeah, so I mean, again, someone's gonna say, "Oh, you didn't mention my favorite brand. I'm a Ranger guy, or I'm a Triton guy, or I'm an old school Skeeter guy, or I'm a Camus guy." Everyone has a flavor of ice cream, and and it's okay to change your flavor of ice cream and like something different, and try something else in life, and that's the spice is the variety of life, or the variety of spice of life. But that's those things are super important to touch on. Is that when you're doing your research about these boats, about these motors, the more research you can do, the better. The more knowledge that you have, the more information. Don't just jump on something and buy it instantly because oh, my buddy has it. It's the same thing like cars. You
Yeah,
got to water test it. You got to drive it. You got to fish out of it. That's why they have demo days. That's why they do these things for people to be able, for anglers, for fishermen, fisherwomen, lady anglers to be able, because we can't forget
right.
them, to be able to drive the boat. But I'll probably get a little bit of static, but people don't know this. I don't drive a bass boat that I need to drive at 75, 85 miles an hour. Okay, I'm not that type of bass boat
Me either.
driver.
I'm
I'm
a
a little
lazy
bit more
guy.
conservative.
I'm
Huh?
lazy when I drive them. I like cruising about
Okay.
3,500. Get too fast. I worry about my
Yeah.
tackle blowing out.
Okay. I don't need to go that fast. I'm good at 60, 62, 63, 65, and I feel comfortable. If I really need to punch it, I will. But majority of the time, I'm not going that fast. You miss up spots, you pass things, your hat blows out, and you're like, "Oh man." But hey, there's that feeling of your number being called in the morning and fucking sending it.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna ask you. So I'm going out. Let's just say someone hands me $100,000. By the way, if you want to send that to me in the chat, I'll let you help pick it out. That was a joke. Let's say I got my eyes. I'm not. I'm not worried about what brand. I want to go out. What's the first thing I need to look for if I'm buying a bass boat, whether it's through your website or I just want to go visit a dealer, new or used? Let's stick in the used market because you hear
Yep.
people.
What to look for? I gotcha.
Yeah, what would be one of the first things you look for? I know you hear people. Oh, what's the hours on the motor? Or, honestly, is the
Yeah.
hours really
Well,
that important anymore? Especially if you're buying
yeah.
a boat that's
Well,
got a warranty on it.
yeah. We'll break it down. We'll break it down here a little bit, and we'll for the matter of time. I think we're on for about an hour. I don't know what our time
Yeah,
time
we'll probably
limit
go
is.
another 25, 30 minutes if you're good with that.
I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I don't have a time limit, but I do got the family in the other room type of deal.
Yeah, my
So
wife just come home from Walmart and I saw chicken wings, so I know what's fixing to be up.
yeah, exactly. So hours. There's this huge misconception about education and optics. If a motor, regardless, if it has 300 hours, really that's not a lot of hours. Okay, I'm just using that as an example. Once you have a motor breakdown, a lot of times you see is anglers are idling around or they left it on at the ramp. That doesn't mean the boat's been ran at 6,000 RPM, 300 hours, and it's going the whole. Like you have to be able to understand the motor breakdown, like hours on a truck or a car.
Mm-hmm.
Just because my Toyota Tundra Forerunner had close to 300,000 hours before I traded it in. So you're doing your first service is your 10, 20 hour service. The next service is your 100-hour service. But again, looking at the hours, use that as a part of the puzzle. Electronics, does it have, not every boat's going to have the most up-to-date electronics,
Right.
trolling motor, full package. For me, if you're asking, hey, what are you looking for? I'm looking for the hull, motor, trailer, and trolling motor. majority of the time, if I'm buying something pre-owned, I'm gonna basically strip it down and put whatever I want on it, and or repower it. So I'm looking for certain things that are a little bit different. But not every entry-level guy is gonna go rig a boat. He just wants to turn key and fish. He doesn't want to have to pull the engine out and redo it. So, looking at the trailer, making sure it's, the wheels spin good, the wobble test, looking at the bunks, the swing away, making sure, normal wear and tear, if there's something that needs to be identified, going over it. The best advice I can give, and it's on our site and from the business, because I am speaking for the business, is have anything that you're going to buy mechanically inspected. It's on the site. It's as a disclosure, as a disclaimer. You need to do that. You're buying something just like you were buying a car or buying a home. It gets an inspection. The same thing with a boat. That's the best thing you can do. That's highly, highly recommended. It's not something you want to skip over. Carpet, seats, those things can be easily replaced. I just replaced the seats in my boat. So, if you're looking at a boat and it's perfect, great, it's perfect. But if you're looking at a boat that's got a little bit of a run in a seat and it bothers you that much, keep in mind you're fishing. These aren't garage queens.
Right. So that brings me to my next question, Josh. You see this all the time on the Bass Boat Universe. People say, I'd never buy a pro's boat. They're so hard on their equipment, or a pro does this and does that. I'm going to be honest. I've seen some pros that treat their boat better than I'd ever treat a bass boat. I mean,
right.
You can't dip in here. You don't bring your muddy shoes on here. They baby it. Don't get it near the rocks. Some of those pros do a really good job of keeping their boats in shape.
You got to keep in mind that this optics or stigma of every pro angler gets a free boat is not true.
Correct. I was going to say that, but
that is not factual. And I'm not going to get into the pro and sponsored anglers and deals. That's not the point of this. This pro anglers are responsible for their boat. So if they don't take good care of it, guess what? Their resale value goes down. Whether they got it for free or if they're paying for it themselves, it's pride of ownership. So is there a few boats that once you look at, you say, this might not be the boat for me? Sure. But I'm going to tell you that a majority of pro anglers really take care of their boat because it's their tool. It's how they make their money. Okay. And from what I've seen and experienced, they do take well care of these boats. That's been a stigma that they're run hard. They do whatever they want. They got it for free. They don't care about it. It's just not factual.
Right.
The majority of the boats that are on Bass Boat for Sale are from repeat customers, meaning a pro angler like Tim Frederick on MLF now, which was previously FLW. We get his Falcon almost every single year. I know he takes care of his boat. Carl Jacobson, just to name two guys. Yeah, I'm going to name drop those two. We get those guys' boats a lot of times. We had Jordan Lee's boat twice in 1 year. Both his Rangers, his 18 and 19, and they didn't last long at all. So
I'd like to have a Jordan Lee boat. It probably has some really good juju in it.
Yeah, that boat lasted 5 days, and his wife was not so happy with us because it was her phone number.
Oh, no, that's crazy. So, yeah, that's a good question.
But we resolved that. Look, I'm just going to put this out there as a generality, and I appreciate you giving me the platform to speak to. If you see a pro angler's boat and you have a phone number there, don't abuse the phone number and reach out to that pro angler if you're not interested in the boat. That's not what it's for.
Right.
Okay?
I can see
you
that.
You can see him at the Bassmaster Classic. You can see him at an event. You can send him a message on social media. But don't use the phone number unless you're seriously interested in the boat, because you know why? They're not going to put their phone number there anymore, and it ruins it for the people that are serious about the boat, and then that loses the whole point of it. So
last thing we need is people texting Jordan Lee, where's them brush piles at on Eufaula, or hey Zach, what's your favorite frog? I totally get that.
Look, they have personal lives, they have families, they run side businesses. Sometimes it's not their full-time job. We do that as a courtesy, as a professional courtesy to make a phone number available so you can call, text, and get a hold of somebody when you're a serious buyer about that boat. But and this is all I'm going to say about it, because we do get complaints, we read comments, we get phone calls, emails, text messages, talk to the guys, pro anglers at the show. It's just a common courtesy. Look, we know you want to reach out. Just do it at the appropriate time. And I get it. You know, even myself as a younger man or younger guy, you know, hey, you know, Jolie, you know, give me a fishing tip. I'm fishing on Okeechobee. I just saw you were on there. Just kindly don't do that unless you're going to buy the boat. If you're going to buy the boat and you're seriously in that buying process, you can ask them a fishing question.
I mean, it's a good negotiation tactic, though. If you're 100% serious, you know, it's all right to be like, hey, you know, Kelly Jordan, I'm going to Fork. I'll buy your boat. How much extra are you going to charge me for all your waypoints? Knowing KJ, he'd be like, oh, I just throw them in there for you. There's not
right. Exactly.
I'm not saying go tell everybody that and you know, kick the tires, but yeah, sometimes you make some really good friendships. And you know, I know some pros, they don't have trouble selling their boat because they sell it to the same guy every year. They've made a great friendship. So, the buyer knows exactly what they're getting, and it you know, there's something about being comfortable with who you're buying from too. So
right. So there's a number of pro anglers that have had the same buyer for years, and then sometimes it changes. And we've seen that too, where we'll get a boat from a pro angler on this topic. They didn't have their boat with us before, but this year they needed it, so we take care of them. But next year they might not. So it's nothing personal. It's just business. So right. A lot of time, you know, I'm not going to name names, but I know specific anglers, their boats, you know, sold out 3-4 years in advance. There's no need to reach out to them or to talk to them about it because I already know the answer. That doesn't mean that I won't approach them after that period has ended, because then I'm respecting that. But again, pro angler boats, yes or no, should I buy one? The answer is yes. You're getting a great deal on the boat with the greatest and latest electronics, and you know that's been taken care of, and you know it's been tested through the most rigorous things. So, you know, and majority of the time, they're coming with warranty from the factory and on the motor and on everything else. Usually they've been run for a year, year and a half, 2 years. So it's not a bad deal. You're saving a lot of coin on that boat. But again, you know, I'm not pushing people to do that, but I'm telling you, they don't last long. So if that's the boat for you, grab it. If that's not the boat for you, there's more available for you.
Gotcha. All right, we've been on for like an hour and 2 minutes.
I know.
That's okay. I'm going to leave it with one last question. This pertains to your site. And this is a good question, because we've been talking about pro boats and year-old boats and stuff.
We talked about pros. You know, we got to touch on dealer boats and private owner boats. We want to make sure, because pro boats do make up a good chunk, but 99% is marine dealer boats and private owners.
Right. So what is the current price range? Can you find any? It's basically whatever somebody wants to list, correct? If I got a boat and I want to sell it for $10,000, or do you have a minimum? Your boat's got to be worth X amount to list on here.
Right. So we don't have a minimum amount. So we've had some older boats, some older Rangers, or something that was $2,500 or $3,500, which is not a lot of money for a boat, but it has to pass the sniff test. Does it show well? Does it have a trailer? Does it have a hull? Does it have a motor? Does it have a trolling motor? Does it have a steering wheel and column? So there's boats that we don't do. You know, we're not doing mud boats. It has to be a bass boat. Do you get some center consoles like a Lake and Bay and some of these custom boats, and maybe soar like a bay boat, but that was predominantly bass fished? Yeah, we do, but it has to pass the test. So there's not a minimum. Obviously, we're not doing a canoe, even though it bass fishes. It's just not something that we're doing. So yeah, as a premier bass boat company, it has to be a bass boat. Does it have to be $70,000, $80,000, $150,000? What do you mean $150,000? I've seen some custom boats that are $150,000.
You go get a brand new Allison, pimp it out with the latest live scope electronics, put that 400R on that thing, dude.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, there is people that their budget, they don't have a budget. And then there's
people that don't have a budget, and there's people that do have a budget. I have a budget, you have a budget, majority of people do. And there's nothing wrong with having a budget, and there's nothing wrong with working towards being unlimited. That's the American dream. frame. But as far as it goes, we don't get boats that got beat up carpet and beat up seats and don't show well. They know not to list them. Majority of the boats we get have low hours and they show well. Has there been a boat that was like, fair, good, or average? Yeah. But, it passed.
Correct.
So, not every boat is going to be that way, that according to the price. So a $10,000 boat is not going to be the same as a $70,000 boat. It's just not the same. So I hate to say it, but a Toyota Corolla is not going to be a Lamborghini. They both go down the road and they drive, and they both can not the same miles per hour, but you get what you pay for. And there's nothing wrong with that. Having an older boat or having it paid for, or not having the latest greatest electronics, keeping up with the Joneses. But I'm talking about a couple different interpersonal things and buying behavior. I'm just saying, for a majority of the people that feel that they're left out, doesn't mean you're left out. You can just get something and go fish and enjoy water, family time, tournament fishing or competitive fishing with a friend, and just enjoy the water, bass fishing. Once you get and move through the paces, you can upgrade. That's always available for you.
You can get lucky,
guys that might need
you can win one.
Or guys that might need to downgrade.
Yeah, you get lucky and you win you a certificate for whatever and sell a certificate. Now, that's one thing I meant to ask earlier. Let's say
we do that.
Say I
we sell
go out here on Kentucky Lake next weekend. I win me a Ranger certificate. I don't want to mess with it. I go, hey Josh, can I send you a copy of the certificate? Can you put that on your site?
Yep. Yes, we have done certificate boats. We have done boats that have been won in derbies or fundraisers. Yes, we can do certificate boats. What we do on a certificate boat is we have a photo of the certificate and we omit the information that would be sensitive. So basically they're buying the certificate and then they can go to said marine dealer or manufacturer and get that. So they're a lot of times, the winner might already have a boat and he doesn't want another boat. He just wants the winnings, the money,
and then pay off his other boat. I've seen that before.
Maybe he's got a kid on the way, or maybe So that answers that question. I know that we're gonna do more sessions, and I don't want to hot mic anything or not say something that is a question or an answer. But I just want to make sure that we're, staying to the audience attention ratio, hour and 15.
Hey, man, it's Sunday night. It's Memorial Weekend. We got about 100 people in here. I'm thrilled with it. We're going to make a short session of it. We're going to jump off here. I'll tell you what we need to do.
Yeah, but there's more to talk about, and we can do this more. We can, I'll propose that we could do every 3 weeks or, every 21 days, we could do the bass boat segment, and we can, talk about bass boats and do that. And if it gets a good high response rate, we can roll with that.
We may even let you advertise a few great deals that are on bass boats for sale. We'll roll them up here on the screen if we have to get some people interested. But I'm glad you took the time out of your evening. You got family. I got family. This will play. It's on YouTube. It'll be here forever. Some great information tonight, and we'll do some more diligence on some cool questions.
Yep.
So, guys, if you have any bass boat questions after the video, leave a comment. I'll work on getting some more actual bait fishing stuff up here. I've been hard on the yard this weekend, so we're going to jump off here. I'm going to end the stream. So, guys, thank you so much for joining tonight. Thank you, Josh. And be sure to use that Vantage Recreation Finance link if you're interested in buying a boat. It doesn't have to be from Josh's website. It could be at your local dealer, whatever, just to finance an option for you. And as always, like, share the video.